Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 3794 AN. Today's date is December 12th, 2025, and the title of the episode is Fed Does Not Control Jobs or Inflation with QE Printing. Banks just got the message. Now, as we wrap up 2025, it's a good time to slow down and reflect on the year. If there's one thing we've all learned is that uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal isn't a plan, it's a gamble. For over a decade, my friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves and the people they love by diversifying their wealth with gold and silver. Look, no one knows what 2026 will bring, but one thing's for sure. In an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital. It's physical, it's lasting, and it's yours. So when you're sitting around the table this holiday season, surrounded by family, remember, the best gift you can give isn't under the tree, it's peace of mind. And that's what Noble Gold delivers. Peace of mind, 1 ounce at a time. Before the year ends, take one smart step toward a safer future. Visit X22Gold.com and get your free wealth protection kit today. That's X22Gold.com. Don't leave your future to chance, or just click the link in the description. And remember, past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your financial advisor before making investment decisions. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the deep state, the corrupt politicians, the private West Central Bank, the World Economic Forum. You can see over the many, many years, the Federal Reserve has been tricking the people. The people believe that the Federal Reserve was able to control the jobs, was able to control inflation, they were able to do this with QE printing. But that is not the case whatsoever. They're not controlling jobs. Actually, they're the ones who are creating the inflation. They never could control it. The only way you can control inflation is if you stop Congress from borrowing the currency and putting it in circulation. But again, they don't want to stop that. They want their debt system to expand. This way, they put the people of every single country, not just the United States, into debt, and you control the country. So they were never, ever going to control inflation, and they created these illusionary calculations on, hey, look, we only have inflation at 1 or 2%. Well, yeah, for that very tiny specific period. But when you add up the inflation going back all the way back to 1971 when we came off the gold standard, well, that's about 3,000%. This is why the U.S. dollar has lost, and it's not even the U.S. dollar, it's the Federal Reserve note, lost, 98% of its value? Because again, they did it to keep you in the dark. It's one gigantic illusion. And how are jobs created? Let me see. Are jobs created by inflation where manufacturers can't manufacture, where regulations are put into place, and manufacturers are pushed out of this country? Is that creating jobs? No, it isn't. You see, they created the jobs by creating government positions. So when they lost the private sector jobs, it went to government jobs. Wait a minute. How do you have to pay for the government jobs? You need to borrow more money, which then creates more inflation. It seems like the Federal Reserve does the actual opposite of what they're telling us, just like everything else. And you can see they're trying to convince the people of this country that Trump's economic system that he's building, well, it's failing. It's not working well. Inflation is not tamed. Employment is not good. Look at the layoffs. Oh, look, the country's falling apart. But when you really start to look at this, and Wall Street put this out, if the labor market is weakening, it's on the job creation side of the equation, maybe in part due to AI. The 4-week average, which largely irons out the week-to-week squiggles, and which ticked up to 216,750 seasonally adjusted, which is historically low, and in the same low range that it has been for the past 4 years. This administration's data, not survey-based data, freshly laid off people filed these applications for unemployment insurance at state unemployment agencies, which then reported them to the U.S. Department of Labor by the weekly deadline, which then combined the data and published it today. In a longer time span, going back to the 70s, initial claims are very low, despite the growth of non-farm payrolls over the decades. They were lower only during the tight labor market in 2018 and 2019 and during the labor shortages coming out of the pandemic. Layoffs show no signs of weakening labor market. If the labor market is weakening, it's on the job creation side of the equation. So layoffs are low, but once laid off, it takes people longer to find a job as companies have slowed their hiring. But even that has improved since the summer. Now, you have to remember, the Biden administration / Obama plus the central bank system, they manipulated the job numbers from the very, very beginning. They told us there were a lot more jobs that were created, and there really weren't those jobs that were created. And when you're starting to cut government and you're starting to remove those jobs, and you have corporations that are laying off, and Trump now is creating new jobs, bringing manufacturing back, bringing investment back, and lowering the rates, which will allow companies to expand, you're going to see that jobs are going to be coming back quite quickly. Over the summer, all of a sudden you saw a pickup in hiring. I do believe this is going to now start to really accelerate in 2026 because, again, Trump has done what? He has laid the groundwork. So when you hear, oh, there's layoffs, oh, there's this, you have to remember, you got to put it all into perspective of what's really going on. And it's just like the private West Central Bank. As they shipped off the manufacturers and companies and small businesses closed down here, all they did was they replaced those jobs with government jobs. And they continued to do that. Actually, during the Biden administration / Obama, that's exactly what they did. And you can see that they're trying to convince people, and this is the fake news, the central bank and the rest, that the economy is not doing better. Now, they did the same exact thing, but in the opposite way during the Biden / Obama administration. What they did back then, they told everyone that inflation's not that bad. Fuel prices aren't that high. But you have to remember, the people experienced something very, very different. Now they're going to try to convince the people that Trump's economy is not working, inflation's going up. Even though fuel prices are coming down, the fuel prices aren't really coming down. Now, this is only going to work in the year 2025 because what they really did was they handed off an economy that was completely and utterly failing, and they were hoping it would completely and utterly fail under the Trump administration during the year 2025. And this is why the Fed was holding the rates steady, because they didn't want to give anything to Trump to make the economy better. But the problem with all this is that Trump has created the tariff system. The tariff system actually countered what they were trying to do, which means their plan didn't work and actually boxed in the Federal Reserve because using their logic, let's see, unemployment is exactly where they wanted it to be, and inflation was exactly where they wanted it to be to actually lower rates. And then Trump called them on this. So the Federal Reserve had no choice but to start lowering rates. They didn't want to, but they had no choice because Trump continually pointed the finger at that. Look what's going on here. How did you lower the rates during Biden's term? You didn't see anything like this. Let's talk about how to protect ourselves online. Patriots 40 and up who have Gmail, listen up. Weeks ago, the biggest email hack ever just leaked over 183 million passwords. Yours most likely is out there right now, handed to hackers who steal your social security number, bank details, even your name to drain your accounts or rack up debt in your name. That's identity theft. Crooks pretending to be you, wrecking your credit, your savings, your life while you fight to prove it's not you. But here's your fix. Virtual Shield Identity Protection. Just easily sign up and it scans the dark web daily for leaked info. Blast alerts to your phone if something's fishy, like that Gmail breach popping up. If thieves strike, up to $5 million insurance can help cover lost wages, legal fees, stolen money. Plus, 24/7 U.S. experts handle the calls and clean up. You just relax. It even monitors kids' identities before they know it. This Black Friday, take advantage for only $4.88 a month, the cheapest full shield around. Grab it at virtualshield.com/X22. That's virtualshield.com/X22. No more waiting. Your family's future depends on it. Eyes wide, defenses up, X22 out. Or just click the link in the description. So he pretty much boxed in the Fed, and the Fed pretty much said, okay, let's just do that for now. But the fake news is still trying to convince people that Trump's economy is not working. But what's going to happen in the end is that people now are going to experience something different. They're already starting to do this. Now that fuel prices are coming way, way down, people are starting to really take notice, and they're starting to say, okay, wait a minute, I got some more money in my pocket. This doesn't make any sense. When you start to get the tax refunds in 2026, people are going to start to really wake up and go, whoa, wait a minute. That one big, beautiful bill that Trump was talking about, wow, now I see what he's talking about. Because now I didn't have to pay that much in taxes, or I'm getting a nice refund. And this is going to actually destroy the fake news narrative. It's going to destroy the D narrative. Trump, he put this out and said, I inherited a mess from Biden administration. The worst inflation in history, the highest prices our country has ever seen. In other words, affordability just 13 months ago was a disaster for the American people. But now it is totally different. Prices are coming down fast. Energy, oil, and gasoline are hitting 5-year lows. And the stock market today just hit an all-time high. Tariffs are bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars, and we are respected as a nation again. When will I get credit for having created, with no inflation, perhaps the greatest economy in the history of our country? When will people understand what is happening? When will polls reflect the greatness of America at this point in time and how bad it was just 1 year ago? When will people see this? In 2026. All of a sudden, you're going to see people talking about how incredible everything is. When people say, wow, in my area, gas is $1.98. I remember when it was $4. Trump brought it down. Hey, did you get a really good refund? Because I did. That one big, beautiful bill is absolutely incredible. Hey, look, a manufacturer just set up shop right in my town. Now there's job openings. I've been looking for a higher paying jobs, and now I can go get one. This is absolutely incredible. Look, the interest rates are coming down. I can afford a better house, a bigger house, a nicer house, and I just got a better job. And when you look at it, inflation's pretty much flat. Did the inflation disappear from all the way back to 1971? No. But I am getting more money because of lower fuel costs. And since the fuel costs are lower, I'm starting to see that prices in the market are coming down. Airline tickets are coming down. And with the low interest rates, I can get myself a nicer car for a cheaper price. And all of a sudden, our corporation, our business that I'm in, they're expanding. And because there's more sales. So this is what people are going to see. And I do believe this is going to happen in 2026. Now, of course, the fake news, they're going to try to fight back with everything that they have. They don't want people to understand that this is really happening. So you'll probably see stories that what you're experiencing is not real. What you're experiencing is something that just happens, for a couple of weeks and that's it. Or it's a leftover from Biden. They might even try to pull that one out. But again, this has nothing to do with Biden. This has to do with everything that Trump has been putting together right now. And actually, the economic system is going to really skyrocket as we go through the year 2026. And it's just going to get better and better and better. And you're going to see the tariff system. It's really going to be building up. It's going to be absolutely incredible. And the Federal Reserve will not be able to do anything. Remember, they really don't control employment. They don't bring down inflation. They cause inflation. They cause the problems in the economy. E.J. Antonio, PhD, put this out and said, they're not restarting QE because the labor market or inflation. It has nothing to do with full employment or stable prices. They're doing it to maintain the monetary framework they built in March of 2020, which requires things to go up. Peter Sayong responded to this and says, jobs are the excuse for QE money printing. Since 2008, the financial system needs a constant stream of money printing. In other words, inflation forever until either we end the Fed or a financial crisis does it for us. And that's the truth of the matter. The Fed has to continually prop the system up, because if they don't do it, the entire system collapses. This is why they wanted the Great Reset. This is why they tried to destroy the economy under Trump, but they never, ever expected Trump to build the parallel economic system as quickly as he did. They never expected him to actually dismantle the globalist system that they put into place to support the central bank system as quickly as he did, where he made these deals around the world. And the countries said, okay, we fold. We'll go along with it. We know we can't survive. We know the system was lopsided. We know you were passing money over to us. We know we were making a lot off the United States. We know we were making a lot off the people of the United States because we just made them work harder and harder and harder. Trump has dismantled the globalist system. And now with the new system in place, remember, If our goal, and I do believe this is the goal, our goal is to bring down the central bank system. It's to give the power of the economy back to the people. Give the power of currency creation back to the people. What do you have to do? You have to undo everything that they did to create their globalist central bank system. So this is what Trump has been doing. And he's using the tariffs to do it because he has an engine that competes. To make the system run in any country, in any place, you need currency coming in, because without it, how do you fund anything? So if you have a borrowing system, the people are always on the hook. They always have to pay it back because you're borrowing the currency. Yes, you have currency coming into the system, but it's a system that enslaves the people. If you have a system where you're taking currency from other countries and you're funding the government, there's no borrowing. You don't have inflation. You don't have to have the people pay it back. There's no interest attached to it whatsoever, which means you don't have to take people's money from their labor. Actually, what's going to happen is people are going to receive money from the external revenue. You see, the central bank is taking your money because it's an internal revenue system. So Trump's system is going to give back to the people. The central bank system always takes from the people. And if you look at their system, just take a step back for a sec, their system always takes from you. We need more taxes. We need state taxes. We need more income tax. We need property tax. We need sales tax. Take. All they do is take. Oh, wait, inflation, the hidden tax. Oh, I'm sorry. You're going to have to work harder now because your money doesn't go as far. Oh, you're going to have to get a second job because, by the way, your money doesn't go as far because our system is designed to keep you enslaved and keep you working harder and harder and harder. And you have to give us a portion of your hard work. So that system always takes from you. The external system always gives to you. That is the difference. And this is what our founding fathers wanted from the very, very beginning. And you could see the banking system, they're kind of panicking right now because Trump is not just setting up cryptos, stable coins. Eventually, he will mention gold when the time is right. He's not just doing it to say, hey, look, isn't this fun? I got a hobby here. He's doing it because he knows this will compete against the entire banking system. He knows that this will allow people to have financial freedom in the end. And you can see the banks are definitely panicking. Lark Davis put this out and said, major U.S. banks are now issuing credit backed by Bitcoin. Wait a minute. I thought Bitcoin doesn't hold its value. I thought Bitcoin is used by money launderers. I thought criminals only use Bitcoin. So why would a bank, and think about this, a financial institution, why would they issue credit backed by Bitcoin if Bitcoin is going to go to zero? So Bank of America, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Charles Schwab are just a few of the names that are doing this. And remember, banks don't lend you money against assets they think are going to lose value over time. And that's absolutely true. And I remember going back a little bit in time, I remember Trump saying that the banks are antiquated. So I really do believe that everything is about to change. And you can see that slowly but surely Trump is actually positioning and actually setting everything up. So when the change comes, it's that much easier. And I do believe all of this is to give the people back their economic freedom. Because again, back in 1913 and moving forward, it was taken from we the people. And this is something the founders never wanted. And I do believe once the people have that power back, the deep state, the central bank, they'll cease to exist because they can't operate without money. They can't operate without the system. So I do believe as we move forward, we're going to see the economic system really improve. And the only way to stop it is to do what? Crash the economy? How would they do that? Well, there has to be some type of an event. I mean, if there is no event, then Trump has everything on his side. The people have everything on his side. And the economy is just going to continually get better and better and better. But again, you have to remember going back in history, you know that the central bank, they don't want to lose control, because if they lose control, they lose control over everything. And once they lose control, it takes years upon years for them to try to reestablish themselves. And especially what I do believe Trump is about to do, where if he removes the Federal Reserve Act, if we actually remove the amendment where it says Congress shall collect taxes, if all of that is removed, it's going to be very, very difficult for the deep state central bankers to come back into this country. It doesn't mean down the line, hundreds of years later, they won't be able to, because we've seen it before. This is the third central bank in this country. So we know they're always trying to get back into this country. But again, we need to set up roadblocks. We need to remove them. And I do believe that is what we're on course to do. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.